Yeah, right? So welcome, Drink with James, episode 64.
Your best episode
Live,
yet.
maybe, we'll see. This is the second live one. Rach Martino, who I know we can't spin around, but she's in the audience. She was live episode number 1, and we got just irresponsibly drunk and talked for 85 minutes. And Tim was like, you gotta cut it. Like, people are literally dying in the audience. I was like, shut up, Tim. So Tim is told me already that he's gonna try and cut us off at 45 minutes and have 15 for questions. But thank you guys for coming, Marcel, Moti, One Dapper Street, and Moti. How do you pronounce your last name?
Ankari.
Akari, that's cool. If you don't follow them on Instagram, Tim will put it up here. I would be surprised if you don't follow them on Instagram, but if you don't, please do. Obviously, I think a lot of people that watch the show are kind of crazy, but we love you. No, but a lot of people are kind of just starting out. And there's a lot of the questions we get is how do you start working with brands? And obviously, it's such a different world than it was when you guys started. I mean, I think what's really interesting is when you, certainly Moti, when you started out, and probably Marcel as well, it was kind of weird to be a blogger. And like, people would kind of make fun of you. And it wasn't like a thing that people were like, oh yeah, you're a blogger, that makes sense, I've heard of that. It would be like, I'm a blogger, and people would be like, wait, you seriously, like that's what you do? So when for you, like, did you have a moment when like what were some of your first brand collaborations? How did those come about? And is that the thing that, like, Marcel, you said that like you had a friend that was kind of taking this into being more of a business. But when did you start to think like, oh wow, this could actually be a job for me?
Well, to fully live off of it, that's not what I planned. When I started it, I knew I wanted to build it as a brand marketing tool. Like, that was the idea I had. So I've always treated it like a business. It took me 10 months, which at that time, like, I think I was at like 19,000 followers when I did my first brand collaboration with, it was with Details, may it rest in peace, and Armani Exchange, which was awesome. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was a cool thing for me to, Armani Exchange was like, I don't know, come from Germany, like Armani.
Yeah.
It's Exchange, but it's Armani. So I did like 3 blog posts with them. I had a whole lot of fun just creating that content, and that just came. And I gotta give credit to this man to my right now, because honestly, like he had done it 2 years prior to me, and I did know him from FIT. I know.
I told you. On camera. Okay.
He recites this a lot. I sent him a message on Facebook and I said, hey, I'm gonna become one of you. And he said, what?
I'm like, this?
I was like, I wanna become a blogger. I wanna be a blogger. I wanna be like you. And he brought me to a bunch of events. He had introduced me to some of my closest friends today, to Justin Livingston and like a bunch of other bloggers in the industry that he knew. I didn't, what?
I'm like, that's really, get this on.
We're rolling, we're good. Chill.
I'm about to cry.
No, and I remember this, the first event I actually went to was a Details event, which is where I met Justin. What I'm trying to say, and again, you didn't want to get heavy or deep, but like, this is me pouring my heart out. Like, I wouldn't be where I am without you today.
Stop.
So.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that.
I'm not
actually.
joking. Like,
yeah. For me, if I had that story, I might just get that on a T-shirt. Like, get that. I do, like, if you have the screenshot of that Facebook message from him.
I'm like, I'm gonna wear like an iPad so I get this video like recording along the screen.
Just adding on to that, and I'm sorry, Tim, but 45 minutes, like, it's gonna be a little short. Adding on to that, you said that was a struggle. I'm still struggling with that. People are like, oh, what are you doing? And I legit, like, I stutter every time. I'm like, I'm trying to think, like, would they know? Like, if it's an old, like, even just like my mom's age, I'm like, would they know what an influencer is? Yeah. Like, if I say influencer or if I say blogger, and like, some of them are like, oh, I'm a blogger, because I think they know, and then they're like,
yeah, my parents still don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
He wears clothing, like, I used to send so much clothing home, so they would see it all. They're like, all these brands send you all this clothing? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, what do you do? I'm like, I try to explain it to you, like, this is what I do. Like,
right.
Like, so you're a model. I'm like, thanks.
That's what they think I am. That's what they think I am.
Right. You're like an online model.
I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll go with that.
I model for my own
So my grandmother, I was at her house the other day. She's not the other day, like a year ago. Sorry, Grandma. I should visit more. She's like 96, and she was like, I was trying to explain my business, and she's like, oh, so it's QVC. I was like, yeah, I mean, sure. Essentially, it's QVC. Yeah, I mean, with better looking people, but like, yeah, it's fucking QVC. We're just fucking hawking shit. Let's do it. So.
I'm like, call the number now.
You guys could buy all of this. So go back, obviously Instagram, we've talked about this a good amount on the show. But like Instagram was the show you're on right now. Instagram was a different place even for you. It was so much easier to grow quickly. It takes a lot to click follow now. And I often am like, in meetings or I talk to influencers, it's like, think about the last time you followed someone new, not because you're an influencer and you're doing research and you're like, oh, I should follow this person, but like when you're like legitimately like, oh, I'm interested in this person, I'll follow them. It doesn't happen that often. And when you first join the platform, you're literally sitting like, going to the bathroom being like, well, I'm bored, I'm just gonna find some people to follow, and like that just, I don't think that really happens anymore.
It's a nice image, thank you for that.
Right, you're welcome. So yeah, it is harder. And I mean, like I remember, I took like, you guys know like Tula Vintage. I took her photos. I took some photos of her in like Oscar de la Renta early in Instagram.
Are you dropping names right now?
No, I mean I'm not, but I kind of am. But what I'm saying, what was interesting is that like she just like tagged me photo credit, and I got like 8,000 followers, right? And like I'll have a count. You guys will. I'll take your photo. You guys will tag me. Big influencers will tag me. I could have, someone with 1 million followers like photo credit me. I'll get like 6 followers. Like Instagram is just a very different place now, and it is so hard.
And then these like 500,000 accounts that now have more than 3-4 million followers on Instagram, like Men's Fashion Post, High Fashion Men, both run by 2 friends of ours.
Yeah.
That overnight you wake up and you have 1,000 or 2,000 followers more, and you'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
Now you get a shout out and the picture gets like 20,000 likes on that account, and you're lucky if you walk away with 20. Like,
right.
It's
hard.
It's hard.
I think it's good that's a good transition into like today. What are you doing? Because I think everyone like raise a hand if you hate the algorithm. I'm sure it's gonna right. I love it. So no, I don't.
For everybody in the camera, a whole lot of hands.
Yeah. So what are you doing?
Make a note of this. Sorry.
Right.
They're watching.
Yeah.
Like you always got to.
They don't care. They're trying to sell ads. So
I'm buying them.
and so so am I. So, but like what do you? So like we've got consistency. Really, for both of you, like the answer was consistency. But
sorry to interrupt. Obviously, you got to keep improving your content. Like,
of course,
it's got to be about that. Like, it's not just consistency. Like, oh, here's a shit photo of me. Here's another shit photo of me. Like 7 days in a row. That's not going to get you.
Right. But that's I think at this
make
point
it
in the
effort.
game, it's a given. And honestly, it's amazing. We've had the conference, and I've talked to a lot of influencers that are like 5,000, 10,000 followers, and you go to the accounts, and the quality of content is fucking bonkers. How good it is.
Yeah.
And like Tim and we did like a For You recently about growth, and we pulled old photos from like Blair Eady and like JC and like Peace Love Shay and all these old influencers from like when they were at 10,000 followers, and the photos were fucking, no offense, dog shit. They were so bad. Like they were so bad. Like that shit wouldn't get 10 likes today, and they were growing like crazy, And so I think at this point, all that like, oh, you should be using a good camera and you should have good content. Like that is a given. Like, and everyone at every level who is serious about this is doing that, which is astonishing. So what are y'all doing today to continue to grow in this new world that is crowded and has this algorithm that controls your content a bit? What are you trying to do?
So for me, I think I'm trying. Like it's hard now, obviously, because like there's so much competition, and then people aren't as likely to follow as they were, 4 or 5 years ago. For me, I think I'm like trying to. I think the whole like commenting back, like responding to responses works because I know that Facebook owns Instagram, and when you're on Facebook, it says this one just commented on that one's photo,
right.
And then when you do comment back, and I've like kind of tested it out, and when you do respond back, like I think that photo populates on the explore page more.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're more likely to get more views, more likes, more followers. So I've been trying that, and then of course I've been supporting all my friends, hoping that they support me too.
Right.
So that's another thing. I mean, it's really good when you're, like, I have like really great friends. Marcel not being one of them.
Right, obviously.
We went through it on. No, I'm kidding. Let's not go there.
What doctor?
No, let's not go there.
Come on, I was okay. I had like 80% of his photos, and he was like mad at me because it wasn't all of them.
It wasn't all of them. I'm like, it's over. Okay.
We actually, we did like a survey of like maybe 100 kind of up, like influencers that were like below 50K. And what was really interesting was a lot of people were like, I was spending so much time commenting on hashtags and everything, but I've focused on commenting and engaging in my own feeds.
Yeah.
And that like they felt like that has really worked. So we've heard that a few times of like comment within your feed and focus on that and like making sure your followers know that you're paying attention rather than like going to hashtag menswear and throwing like heart eye emojis on every photo you can find, which probably isn't a super effective strategy.
I think also like when I get, everyone probably gets a bunch of DMs, but when you respond to some of your fans.
I literally get none. So yeah.
No girls slide in there? I can't believe that.
No, there's no sliding.
There's no sliding?
There's no, it's not slippery. There's no sliding.
Y'all got rubber
It's just
socks
like
on?
skin
So
on,
fucking-
it's just gravel,
it's just
yeah.
What I did notice is that when I do respond to those kids, like they're the ones that are likely to comment on my next photo.
Right. They feel like,
So,
what Marcel is saying, they feel like they know you.
Yeah. So
And I think it's really important is that like they're not following your tie that you chose. Well, of course you do. Let's do it. Come on.
I do. No, like it's sorry to this point. Like I just responded to like 400 DMs.
Yeah.
Literally, like every single one that wasn't just
That's
like
it?
a hi.
That's all you got? That's all
I was like trying to think of a funny answer. I don't got nothing. No, like, and it's ridiculous, like the response you get from people, and I feel like every time I do that, I have a follower for life.
Mm-hmm.
And like, people like years later will be like, oh, and like that, yes, like that's how I try and promote my channel too. Like, how many people are gonna go out and be like, oh my god, this guy that has like so and so many followers just like responded back to me and tells his friends about me.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, yes, of course, like 9 out of 10 are probably gonna be like, who's that fool? But like that other one guy is like, oh, I like his style, and I have another follower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've heard from some female influencers, like someone was saying that like they, answer all their emails as well. Like people will be like, I'm going to a wedding, what dress should I wear? And they'll like literally be like, oh yeah, like here's one I would suggest. And like that does, people,
Reward selling.
I think people do. Thank you. Here we go.
12%.
But people do remember that.
Honestly, like the bottom line of what you said is like everybody knows how to take a good photo today, right? And I think so. Like Visco is out there. Like you put a fucking filter on it. If it's a halfway good photo, it'll look fucking fantastic.
Right. I did see you use 8 to 12 apps to edit one photo.
We'll try and make them look extra. No, like that remains a fact for me. Like everybody knows. So like, how do you differentiate? And I think a new way of not a new form of media. That's complete bullshit. Sorry, but like a new prominent media, medium for me is video.
Right.
Because video is a whole new ball game. Like you don't have one frame that you take. You're taking like 24, 30, 60, 120 frames a second.
Right.
That's a whole lot more to think about and a whole lot more to, to like create. So I'm going on YouTube right now. If you guys aren't subscribed to my channel,
Tim will put it
wait,
up right. Tim will put it up
the
here.
links right here.
Yeah.
Add that
Tim,
later.
you got me, right? Tim, you got me. I wish I could tell you what kind of content I have on there. There's some vlogs on there, there's some tutorials on there. I'm trying a whole bunch of stuff.
This is totally QVC, by the way.
Has it been working?
It has.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Like YouTube, it's a whole different platform. Like I had a video that I posted in October, and it had 50,000 views up until like a month ago, and then within 2 weeks it went from 50 to 175,000. I gained 5,000 subscribers to what's now still small, 24,000 subscribers from 19, and that's a 25% increase.
That's crazy.
It's amazing. And
Where
YouTube
did it come from? Do you know?
I think it was suggested videos. It was a home tour, like apartment tour, and those people seemed to like. I watched that video again. Super awkward. Like I got a lot more comfortable in front of camera. super awkward, but those
Right.
people still saw something in me and were like, oh, let me check out another video. And
Did you have a shirt on? I'm just saying.
Actually, now that you mention it, he was missing that.
I'm just like, that might be
anyway, as I was saying.
I was home. Of course I put my shirt on.
Of course not. Let's be authentic. I did.
Yeah.
And no, and those people actually, like, I got Instagram DMs and followers from that video that I posted a while ago.
Right.
So for me, right now, that's a big growth strategy because it's YouTube followers are very engaged. YouTube followers have a connection to you, so they're not like, oh, I like this photo because I like this photo. I like this photo because I like you.
Right.
And I don't know if you want to get into that, but like my message, what I want to convey to the world is bigger than what fashion is anyway. So in video, that's much better conveyed. It's more about being a good person and being positive and responding to life's every situation in the best way you can, because it's all about how you react to things, not how you act.
Right.
But I could talk about that.
We'll get into that later.
But yeah, so
Next week on. No, I'm kidding.
that's why I think video is just, I don't know, video is my growth strategy right now.
And I think in the menswear space, it's, you know, obviously in, you know, beauty, Rach Martino here, it's huge. You know, I think it's with YouTube, especially with men, I think we're almost in the same place that maybe you were 3 or 4 years ago with Instagram. It's so new that if you can be one of the big menswear guys on YouTube, when men kind of come to YouTube more in the next couple of years, you'll kind of just be there like, hey, what's up? I dominate Instagram and menswear, and now I dominate YouTube. No big deal. I'm German. This is what I do. I win.
My new Instagram bio.
Okay,
Thanks, Tim.
we're gonna have some one-on-one questions here. I'm gonna start Marcel. Marcel, so we were out in the Hamptons this weekend. I don't know if y'all saw it. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I'm also a person. You should. Anyway, I am not an adult, I'm a child. And so I stayed up drinking until 1:30. Marcel was like, hey, you get up early all the time, so maybe you could just meet me at Gurney's at 6 a.m., which was like 20 minutes from my the Airbnb we were staying in. And I had to drive with Aaron, who's somewhere over here. I was like, oh my, I could barely stay awake, and I get there, and Marcel's like skipping through the fucking lobby, and he's like, I got this like idea to shoot something. I'm like, okay, cool. So I've shot I used to be a photographer. I've taken a lot of photos, and generally it's like 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm like, I gotta shoot this guy for 20 minutes. He'll probably take his shirt off. I gotta take a few photos of that, and then
He was ready for it.
I was ready, and then I'll be good, and I can like eat an egg sandwich and like drink coffee and be left alone. 2 hours later, Marcel is still telling me what to do and directing me, but I do think, you know, we've heard this from other influencers, we've heard this from brand people, you have a crazy work ethic, and I think that for me was pretty clear, even though I wasn't really in that headspace that morning, it was clear how hard you work at this, and as somebody who shot a lot, you really, you had a lot of ideas, you kind of came prepared, it felt like, and you had the like, you know, you had to deliver 12 photos, and you had the idea of what you wanted to do for each of those 12 photos, which for me was super helpful because I could barely speak English at the time. But I'm just wondering, is that the German in you? Have you always been a hard worker? Is this something that, like, as you've gotten more successful, it's been something that you've seen that you can kind of differentiate yourself? Because it is something we hear about you a lot. So I was just like, talk about how great you are and how hard you work.
I mean, I could do that all day. No, my manager's pointing at me right now. Coco, I love you. Catherine, I love you. Both my managers are here right now, and they're fucking amazing. They manage him too.
Yeah, they like me better.
They try and do their best, but you can only do. No, I want to say, first of all, like, I gave you a heads up at like 9 p.m. It was your decision to stay out until 1:30 and drink. I was like,
I'm not saying I make good
decisions.
decisions.
She's like, yeah.
I'm good.
All right.
He also asked me first, and I was like,
I asked him
how's
for
8?
Literally,
Like, no.
he said yes, and I was like, James, are you free? Because he wasn't gonna get up, and he didn't. No, this is like awkward.
No,
I'm like.
I think it's important because I think. Let me just like rephrase maybe. I think that people think it's not hard, right? And I think you guys probably get this all the time, influencers, right? Like, oh, your job's pretty easy. You just like take photos of yourself. But like, it's not. And you really were kind of like, both of you really, like, we showed up. We had like bottles of champagne sitting around drinking, and both of you were like, "Hey, can we just like go take photos now for 40 minutes or whatever?" And which was totally fine. That's the only reason I was there. but it isn't just fun and game. Like the whole point is to make it look fun, and it does take a lot of work. So I would just be interested to know, what you're how you think about that.
No,
are you prepared?
yeah.
Like before a shoot, like are you sitting down, mapping it out? We've talked to influencers that like create mood boards, and they're thinking, okay, I want this. Like, how are you researching and getting ready for these things?
It really varies. Like, not that I have a track record, but both like my girlfriend now is shooting a lot of my content. My ex-girlfriend was shooting a lot of my content, which was like
That sounds like a pattern.
Huh? It does sound like a pattern. Like I am only gonna date influencers from here on out. No, like it was easy. You live together, you sleep together, you wake up, you're like, oh, I need to shoot this. Let's go shoot it. So. I don't know, like work ethic doesn't necessarily, to me, mean everything is planned out. I was with you, I was in a certain like set, and I knew I had to get 12 photos on. Like I had to think about it a little bit because this is for Armani, everything had to integrate a bottle.
Right.
Like how am I gonna make this bottle look natural to a certain extent? And like, I don't know. Yes, I think it's part of me is because I'm German. Like.
Right.
I like planning things out. I like knowing where I'm gonna, like, what I'm gonna do, where, if it overwhelms me. Mm-hmm. If it's easy, I'm like, just go for it. But at the end of the day, to the point of my work ethic, I love what I do. I don't give a shit if I get up at 6 a.m. and start doing it and go to bed at 2 a.m., stop
right.
doing it at that time. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like work to me. Like, I did this out of college. So, like, I've had jobs. I started working at Subway when I was 15. I love that. Sandwiches, not like a fucking Subway station.
Right.
I was a sandwich artist.
He didn't work.
I'm at heart.
He didn't work at the Subway station. He worked at the sub shop,
I was
guys. Come on.
passionate about it. Like I ate there every day. I was like, I went there to save money on eating there, not to make money. That was like my thing. The next I was in a high-end boutique in my hometown, and I've always loved what I do, and I think that's the message I want to spread. Since day one, my slogan has been share your passion. Like,
right.
I want people to follow what they love doing because it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
Like I got up at 6 a.m. and like I don't love getting up at 6 a.m. I felt like shit too, and like I didn't let you see it, but
right.
I felt like shit too, and I wanted.
You looked great.
Thanks. Facetune. No, like it's just fun. If afterwards it's worth it, you don't regret a single second of it. You know what I mean? So I think that's always been what's like driven me.
And we got fire. We got some fire shit, right?
Like, do you guys want to see?
No. Go to his feed. It's there.
Great. Like,
there was one other thing I was going to say. This is just a tip to influencers. This was really interesting. Marcel has this like thing. He said, I'm gonna take one of your secrets. So like he would look at the photos I had taken and he would be like, oh my God, this is amazing, but let me get a couple more for me. Like it's me, it's my fault. I screwed this up. Like let me do a few more, which I thought was a really good way to be like, no, we haven't gotten the shot yet, because you were like, no, you're doing a good job. My face is fucked. So like, let's just do.
Not even a lie. It was.
No, and he was just like,
he was just like,
I want to get a couple more for me. So that's just a tip for you guys as a good way to tell your photographer you need more photos, because it can be annoying to be like, oh, let's just get a couple more. So that was good. So, Moti, I'm gonna switch to you. Okay, you didn't just jump from school to being an influencer. You had what some would call a job.
Yes. 9 to midnight, literally. It was like my
right.
life. Yeah.
So first, you worked at GQ, yes. You worked at Bloomberg, yeah. And you were kind of, you were creating content and doing things there. Not creating content, but you were a journalist, right?
Yeah,
so I would be interested to know how you feel like that played a role in your career currently, and when it felt like it was right time for you to quit and do this full time, and was that a hard decision for you? That's 3 questions in one.
That's like a lot of questions.
That's like a Russian nesting doll of questions.
I basically got an internship at Marie Claire at that time. I made all of my mistakes there. One of the biggest mistakes was going to a female magazine, because you're the only guy there and they make you run all the time. Like, they make you get all the samples. Like, hey, can you go pick this up? You're a guy, go pick this up. You're strong, go pick it up. They make you do all, like, pick up all the trunks, and I'm like, there's 30 girls here, and like, I'm the only guy. I was like, I have to do all this manual labor. I swear to
manual.
Manual labor. I'm like, you know what?
Manual. What are you gonna do?
After that, I
look. We've seen you with your shirt off too. I mean, that's who can blame them? Who can blame them?
It wasn't like that before, I swear.
This is pre-S10.
This is pre-S10. And then after that, I finally interned there. I finally got there.
Pre-Estad.
Yeah.
Oh, why are you not wearing the hat today?
I'm like, are you coming for me right now?
We're live.
We're live. Okay. So then after that, the next semester I got the internship with GQ. Everything worked out. That was their last time that Connie and S did that whole internship program thing, and then they're like, hey, I'm like, oh shit, today's my last day. I'm so sad, and I was kind of happy because, you know, it's a crazy job. And they're like, oh, we want to like hire you, and I was just like a junior in college, so like I moved all my classes tonight.
Really?
Yeah, and I worked there for maybe close to 3 years.
Wow.
While I was still in school. So, and at the same time I was also blogging. During the weekend I would meet up with Marcel, but Marcel, I had a car at the time, so we would change in my car and like 4 outfits, and we would get like content for the whole week.
Right.
And I was like, you know what, we'll do it on the weekend. And at that point he lived maybe like 15 minutes away from me, like in a car.
In the ghetto also.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like it was cute for us. And then after that, I wanted to continue the blog. I wanted to pursue it. I was like, you know what, like it's going so great, and I kept telling my boss, I was like, hey, like can I take a day off? And they were getting a little bit upset. So at that point I was like, I need to find something else. So then I found Bloomberg was like hiring a part-time fashion editor, and it was perfect because then I could get both the best worlds. And then for 2 years I was at Bloomberg, and then recently in April I was like, okay, I'm ready to bounce, because at that point I was like taking off. I was working 2 to 3 days a week, and I was taking off maybe 6 days a month. So basically I was walking in twice the whole month, and I was like, they're like, hey, you haven't been here in so long. Like,
I mean, so you did this for 5 years while you had a job?
Yeah.
Do you? I know for a lot of people who here, and you guys aren't gonna be able to see this on camera, but who here does like the influencer thing full time now? So not a huge amount of people. So I think for a lot of people, obviously that's the goal, right? To Marcel's point, you want to do what you love. Hopefully you love this. So how did you? Was it just like you'd been taking so much time off and you had so much work? Like, was it a hard decision? It sounds like you were just kind of like.
I was kind of scared, to be honest. But the thing is, with Bloomberg, it was kind of nice because if I wasn't working, I wasn't getting paid. So then like I saw my income. You know, like I saw what I was getting from there when I wasn't working, and there was 1 month where I worked like literally 3 days, and I'm like, basically I could like, I don't need this job.
Right.
So I was scared because in your mind you're like, holy shit, like what do you do? Like how do you make this job a real job? You're 9 to 5. Like I was a little stressed out. I'm like, am I gonna make money? Like, is this gonna happen? But obviously, like you're making money, and it gave me like a good push. And then actually, like I asked my friends, I'm like, do you guys think I should? Like, yeah, just do it. I have a friend named Anthony, and he was like, yeah, do it. Do it. Meanwhile, he like hangs out, like watches Bravo all day.
He really does. He really loves Real Housewives, right?
Yeah.
What's his like stir the pot thing?
He loves that. He's like,
Anthony, I'm here to stir the pot.
Wait,
no, he's like, what's that tagline?
I don't know how to cook, but I know how to stir the pot.
He's like, I might not be a chef, but I sure know how to stir the pot. Oh, man. Yeah.
This is like one question that's two. I'll have you answer at the same time, and then we're going to open it up to y'all, and then we're going to keep drinking and maybe a little bit of light dancing. Just light dancing. It's a Monday. So, knowing what you know today, where y'all are at, if you could go back and like shake 10K followers, Marcel and Moti, what would you tell them? And then what, looking out at the room, what could you give as like one actionable piece of advice? If everyone wakes up tomorrow morning, do you have a piece of advice that everybody can like put to use tomorrow? Those could be the same thing, or they could be two separate things. Go.
What would you tell your 10K self?
I heard the question, Moti.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
just helping.
Well,
That's all.
stupid. Thanks.
Okay, got it.
Honestly, like not to sound cocky, I'm very happy with like every step I took. I'm like, just believe that you can do it, which I guess is a good advice for anybody. Like, I don't know, 10K followers Marcel doesn't feel much different than I do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was doing it because I love doing it. So I don't have much to say to him, to anybody else, to all of you guys. It's the same thing, I guess. Like, fuck, if you love what you do, just do it. Like, if you don't love what you're doing, I don't know, maybe think about what you love doing and then do that. Because it's not about the money. Like, yes, this is a lucrative job, and like it's wonderful. It has a lot of perks and benefits. But at the end of the day, what makes me happy is that I love doing the work. If I didn't love doing the work, then I wouldn't be happy. Fuck the money. Fuck the travel. Like, honestly, if I was like miserable doing it every time I had to take a photo and edit it and post it and write about it, come up with captions, work with brands, do my emails, if I hated any part of that, I wouldn't be happy.
Right.
So I know so many people are out there seeing that this is a good life and thinking you can make money with it, you can travel with it, you can get free clothes. Fuck that. If you don't love what this job is about, then don't do it, because you're not going to find happiness.
Yeah, awesome. That's really nice. That's really nice.
I'm like that. That's all. Any questions for you? Well, my 10K self. At that point, there was like 3 menswear bloggers. At that point, like I wouldn't know what to tell him. I would just tell him, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
Because he was very sad as well.
He was very sad.
He was so sad.
He had no friends. He like didn't like his like life. Like he would commute a lot. Like
He was an
long way.
accountant.
Yeah, he was an accountant also. So
No offense, Micah.
yeah.
You're
But it gets better when you put your heart and soul into it. Like honestly, like I feel like I didn't care what people said about me. Like I didn't care what that kid wrote on Facebook about me. Like he's probably I'm posting this and I'm tagging him in it now. But like I didn't care what he said, and like I just pushed myself through and just continued doing it because like Marcel said, I loved what I did. Like I still love what I do, and it was just important for me to just continue doing it because I felt like it gave me it gave me so much satisfaction. It gave me so much, even though I didn't have 2,000 likes, 3,000 likes, 4,000 likes. I didn't have 20 million followers. Like I enjoyed putting up that content just because I felt like, I felt like an artist. I felt like Picasso. It was chic.
It was chic.
But to give advice to people out there, if they're starting a blog, I would probably tell them to be of course, consistent, all the obvious stuff, but see the things that you like online, like see the bloggers that you like following, follow them, see what they're doing, and then just do it better. Honestly, that's the best. I mean, do what they're doing, keep doing it, and I wouldn't push yourself too much. Don't look too desperate, because there's a lot of bloggers out there that I get a lot of
Right.
messages saying oh how did I want to do this? How did you get this? I want to work with Armani.
Right.
Well, that's how you don't work with them.
Right.
Just.
We tell our sales team all the time that the stench of desperation is it turns people off very quickly.
Yeah.
You can't sound desperate.
I actually manage the Ankari Floruss, our shoe brand. Yeah, be sure to check it out. It's www.ankariFloruss.com.
Back to QVC.
But I manage the Instagram page here and there, and I got a message from a girl, and I don't respond to any of the bloggers saying hey, I would love to promote them because they're all these young kids that basically just want free shoes and want us to pay them to wear them. I'm we have really good brand ambassadors, so we don't need you guys. I didn't say it like that, but there's these young kids from out of the country, and there's this girl that came, and she had awful photos, and she was and I'm I'm gonna respond to this girl, and she was I'm did you check our website that it's only men's? And then she came back at me. She's oh, well, I could get a boy and wear it and post it. I'm no, that's not we don't want that.
Right.
We want someone that loves the brand, wants to wear us. You also want to be a fan of the brand. Don't sell yourself and work with brands that don't represent you, that aren't up to your taste. You want to work with brands that you are a fan of and you're genuine with them, because otherwise you're basically Kylie Jenner posting that gummy hair stuff that she probably doesn't even use. Yeah, Kylie, I'm calling you out. Let's do it.
She just watches regularly, right?
Kylie is a
Kylie
fan.
does
Yeah.
I know she's a fan. I know she's a fan. Kylie, I love you.
We've been dating for a while. So that's gonna put me in some hot water, but
Also, she's 20 years old, and
Is
her
she?
brand is $1 billion now. So all you 20-year-olds, we're all unsuccessful here. So there's that.
that's true. I don't need
Why
any.
did you stop before? I felt better before.
I know.
Right.
I just want to put it out there.
How do you think Instagram? How do you see it changing over the course of the next few years? Do you think about that a lot?
I do.
That
It's
comes
my
across.
livelihood.
Yeah,
Right.
I actually ask a lot of agencies and brands what do they think as well.
It's weird. He's never asked me.
I'm
What does James know?
I'm like
Right.
I said, important people.
The
I'd ask
fucking
important
yeah.
people. But I think, Facebook's been around for 10 years now? 12 years? Yeah, and it's not going anywhere. if anything, like there are magazines closing, and there are so many people, so many brands are putting so much of their efforts behind digital because everything is so quick. But everyone's shopping online, and if you go into a store, you'll barely see anyone in there. Like people are shopping online, people are seeing news quickly on the internet. No one's picking up a newspaper. So I honestly think that Instagram is just going to be, it's still going to be around. Like people are like, oh man, what are all these bloggers going to do in like 5 years from now? Well, we're still going to be here. That's what's going.
Just gonna be making more money.
Yeah, just making more money, just collecting more checks.
Anything to add?
Yeah, actually.
I'm like, what do you have to add?
A lot. No, I think. First of all, it's a very valid question because, like, I don't know, everything like you say Facebook's still here. I'm like, Facebook is here as a company, but I'm not on the platform, and I know a lot of our friends are, and it's just like there.
I'm on it.
I think Facebook Inc. Learned a lot, like from the mistakes they made with Facebook, where they went too commercial, too like adsy, too quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're a lot smarter with Instagram and how they're rolling it out and like the sponsored posts and that have been around for a while. But I think the shoppability that they're starting to introduce with, I don't know, Mr. Porter did it and another brand did it. I forget
Kate
who.
Spade, Coach. I think
Yeah.
they're all.
Coach did it. Coach I
Coach,
saw.
yeah.
I don't wear much Kate Spade myself.
Right. Well, speak for yourself.
So I think they're very smart about how they're rolling it out, and I think like YouTube's been around for 15 years, solid.
Right.
Yes, there's Vimeo, but Vimeo kind of went for a niche, more like filmmaker kind of market, and YouTube's like unparalleled.
Right.
And I think Instagram is on a very good path to be the same thing, to be very invincible. Like Snapchat tried to come at them, like, and Instagram dirtily
Was like, hold my beer.
hold on, let me
Hold-
see what you're doing. I
Yeah.
want to do the same thing.
Hold my
And,
beer as I crush
yeah,
you.
hold my beer. I'm like, please. Yeah, so I think they've been very smart in how they roll things out and how they've been developing. So I don't necessarily see it going anywhere. As for our jobs, yes, maybe they're secure, but at the same time, like, I don't know. There's a question like, are our followers going to be following us when we become daddy bloggers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
First of
it's-
all,
I'm like,
Wow.
I'm already a
It's
daddy. No.
a lot. No, but that seriously, like, am I gonna grow up before them in a way that will turn them off to my feed? Am I gonna curate like a new audience or not? It's from a personal point. I don't know what Instagram's gonna do for me in the future, but
enjoying the ride now.
Yeah,
that's
collect those checks now.
Collect them now. Collect them now. Your kids are gonna need them to go to college. That shit's expensive. Yes. So what do you think are the biggest mistake most bloggers make right now?
right now.
Shoot.
It's not what she asked, James.
I think it's kind of what she asked.
No, that's what you asked.
Right
She said-
now?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
Like, what are bloggers? What are their biggest mistakes? Yeah, Marcel, what are they?
I mean, outside of what I think I said and Moti said, being like, don't do this for the wrong reasons and don't be desperate. Don't fake anything.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it. I don't know. Just, I guess it goes to the point of what I said before. Like, don't do it for the money. Don't do it for anything. Do it because you love doing it. And then if you love doing it, you don't care about how many followers you have. And if you think about all the like OG influencers back then, bloggers, like nobody did it for the money. Even though I said I tried to build it as a business, but
there was no money.
There was
And
no
you,
money.
I mean, you were, like, shit, I started doing this shit in like 2008.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, like, and there's a lot of female influencers like, I've been doing this for 14 years. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't even have a fucking computer 14 years
Yeah.
ago. Like,
I'm like, was
menswear is
Apple
slower.
ever
Like,
existed?
a lot of the people that started in the beginning, I think for y'all as well, it's like you didn't do it for the money because the money didn't exist,
Yeah,
which
well,
made it
you
really
do it 'cause you had fun
interesting.
with it.
You know,
and
you
that's
were
why
just
why you got to where you are now. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, because you just had fun with it.
right.
I hate the term, but it's now called influencer.
Yeah.
But like you're an influencer because you had your own point of view. And
Right.
if you if you just try and copy what everybody else says, like, yes, get inspired by them, but do you,
Right.
and do you authentically. I think.
Beautiful. Moti.
You okay with that?
He said it really well. I literally
Same.
just
Same.
echoing on his.
6:30.
Do you ever feel like, okay, so
Maybe we should get her on the mic.
I've totally forgotten what she said. Where are we right now? Yeah, do you ever feel like you feel this pressure to constantly be posting? Do you guys ever take like a little digital detox? Do you ever step back and like, how do you say, enjoy your life? And like, no, but just like not post all the time? Like, do you take those breaks?
for me, I feel like there is pressure to post. Like you're constantly like wanting to create content to post. I try posting once or twice a day, and if I go, and honestly, another tip is if you post every single day, you'll see a growth that way as well. Like once you stop posting, there goes your chance of growing. For me, echoing on what Marcel says, you have to love what you do, because then when you love what you do when you're on vacation,
you want to post anyway.
Posting.
Yeah.
You have to be posting, otherwise you become irrelevant the next day. Like you're not relevant the next day. But like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like people forget about you. Like it's just like think about it like actors and like Amanda Seyfried.
And I guess to Marcel's point, like you if you're on vacation and you're with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you want to post anyway because you love it and you feel like, oh, I have something I want to share with people, right?
Exactly.
But have you ever like stepped back and been like, you know what, I actually just need some time.
Yes.
I need a minute.
A couple. I mean, everyone goes through that. Like just like you're at your job, like you're like, oh shit, like I'm feeling overwhelmed. Like I want to take a minute, like take a break and like relax. And sometimes I go through that, and there's like a week where I don't shoot, but I'll like recycle photos, or like I'll find like photos from like, you're constantly shooting, so like you have photos in your hard drive somewhere, pull them off, post them, and then that week I'm on vacation.
Right.
But it's important to constantly be posting. You shouldn't let your audience know that you're not present. Like you should be present in terms of like posting every day, but I think it's good to like take like a minute, a detox, maybe like let your creative flow going again, like get new ideas, brainstorm new ideas, go online, read a book, like maybe you'll get inspired. Read a book.
Read more.
Read a book.
Stay in school.
What's a book?
Don't do drugs.
A Kindle, whatever you guys call it. Whatever you kids call it. Okay.
Stop get crazy, Marcel. It's okay. I don't have a boss, so I can say whatever I want.
Same.
Marcel.
I actually did a media blackout like a year and a half ago, where I was like, fuck all of this. I posted a black photo because I thought it was so cool. I didn't post anything for a week, which felt really refreshing. Like for the first, I said I did not post a blog post for the first 2 years. I don't know. It gets really hard. Yeah. Because it's a holiday, and like it's Christmas, and you're home with your family. But guess what? Everybody else is home with their family, doing of course, spending
bored on their
family
phone.
time, but doing nothing, hanging on their phone. So you're like, shit. I really should post right now.
And we actually, interesting data point, the highest engagement rate of the year on Fohr Card was Thanksgiving last year.
Holidays.
Like we pulled the data and the average engagements of everyone, and the highest engaged day of the year was Thanksgiving. Everyone's bored out of fucking mind, be like, my fucking racist uncle is saying some shit right now.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, oh, I hear you. Yep.
No, so yes, like, I don't know, holidays are like high times, which that's an opposite to what everybody else does in the world. Right. A friend recently emailed me, he's like, oh, are you on vacation yet? I'm like, bro, what's vacation? I don't know. Like, if I'm on vacation, like what he said, like the most, and this is a really tough thing, the most beautiful moments in your life, you feel like you need to share them because you know that's what's going to drive engagement.
Yeah.
Right.
And as of recent, I've actually managed to step back a little bit. I'm like, I know what I'm going to post, and like 1, max 2 posts a day. I have my set times, kind of, ish. And I don't know, it's taken a lot of stress off of me. So yeah, it gets stressful, but I think we all find our way to like deal with it. Right. Another toll of the job.
Yeah.
That's not seen by most people. You're like,
totally,
oh,
it's
whatever.
not. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Let's give them a round of applause. Yeah. So.